The other day, I cooked two soups side by side. Same ingredients, same quantities, and one of them tasted a bit meh, but the other tasted amazing. I'm going to get back to software development and like building and creating things by the end of this, so bear with me. I just want to talk you through the thought process. So, everything about these two soups was the same. All of the veggies were prepped at the same time, it had the same number of seasonings, it was the same weight of everything. So why did one taste so much different than the other and taste so much better? Well, it was down to process. And in this case, there was only really one part of the process that changed. One of them, I just took all these vegetables, chopped them up, put them in a pot with some water, and boiled it away, blitzed it up with a blender, and voila, you've got soup. And as far as soups go, it's okay. It was hearty, it was definitely very vegetable-y flavor. But the other one, I did differently because I didn't boil in a pot of water. I roasted in the oven, a slow roast for a long time, and that gave a long enough time for all of the sweetness of these vegetables to come out, for the juices to be let loose. And so I put in about the same amount of water that went into the boiled vegetable soup. But while the boiled one was this harsh, sharp, very peppery, like raw pepper flavor, the roasted one was sweet and deep and comforting. And I think that's interesting. Nothing new was added, nothing clever happened from a cooking perspective. Like there's no secret chefy tips put in or anything. The ingredients didn't change. Only one part of the process changed. And in cooking, that's not the only example I can think of, because my wife loves to bake. She is an amazing baker. And there's one time that she decided to make some cookies. And she used the same basic cookie recipe as she usually does. But she decided to just go a couple of extra steps. And the outcome was phenomenal. So the same ingredients go into this thing, but instead of just adding butter directly, she browned the butter first. Instead of chopping up all of the chocolate into the same size, there's a bit of a mix of a size that went in there. Instead of just making the cookie dough and putting it straight in the oven, you rested it in the fridge for a little bit first, for a couple of hours. These are technically optional steps. You can get a very good cookie by completely ignoring that and just going for a cookie immediately with whatever you got. But the difference between the regular cookies and the one that had a little bit more variety and a little bit more of resting time for the flavors to develop was insane. The latter was so much better. You can skip any one of those steps and still end up with a cookie. But if you do one of them, you're going to get a slightly better cookie. If you do all of them, you're going to end up with a great cookie. But you're putting the same stuff in at the end. The only variable you're really adding is putting in a bit more time. And no one eating it needs to know why it's better. They just know it is. There's lots of reasons for these different things as well. Like when you have different sized chocolate in the cookie, instead of all of the chocolate chips kind of melting at the same rate, you end up with some that are slightly harder chunks because they're bigger, some that melts and becomes strips that go through the cookie dough itself. When you rest the cookie dough, the flavors develop, but then also when you put cold cookie dough into the oven, it takes a little bit longer to cook through. So you end up with these nice crispy edges, but still a soft but cooked middle that is a little bit thicker and fluffier. And that is great. It's just so nice because you have this variety in the bite, and variety makes up a huge part of taste. Like the mixture of textures and tastes and smells all adds up in a huge way. And then that makes me think about software, and especially software in the AI age right now. And that makes me think about software, and especially software in the AI age right now. This has always been a problem that people are afraid to put things out there. They're afraid to talk through what they're building because they're afraid that people are going to copy it. But it's the same kind of thing, right? People can very easily copy an application now using AI, and they might have the same ingredients to put in, but without the same level of care and understanding of the process that shapes these things, it's not going to be the same. People are going to end up not solving the same frustrations or only seeing the surface level thing that a project is trying to solve. It'll be missing something that makes a project really pop and feel like it's worth it. And I think that's important, especially as we're building so many things so quickly now. A lot of things when you're making anything is technically optional. You don't have to roast the vegetables. You don't have to brown the butter. You don't have to add that little animation that draws your eye when you click the button. But the difference between something technically working and something feeling absolutely right lives in these extra steps you take that other people don't see. Any cookie is a good cookie, but if you had the choice between a good cookie and a great one, wouldn't you choose the great one?